What is up, YouTube? It's your boy DWalk71 for PlayStation 4. I'm here with my NXT TakeOver Phoenix review, the first NXT TakeOver show of 2019, and it was good. I mean, it sounds like I sound like a broken record when it comes to NXT. The show was good. It was a really good show, top to bottom. All the matches delivered to an extent. There's a lot of good storytelling, and one match in particular that was really good. It had me really into the match. It was overall just a good show. You know, it just makes you wonder why can't they take this and put more effort from this into the main roster. But anyways, it is what it is. So we open up the show like we do with most NXT takeovers, and even with the NXT UK takeover, we open up with a tag team title match, gets the crowd hot. See, it works on an NXT, but they can open up with a tag match on the main roster, and sometimes it's hit or miss. But this match was definitely a hit. Before the match even started, it started with music playing and flames, and it was the Vikings coming out, and I was like, oh, War Raiders about to be clean. So then they started doing some type of chant or whatever. Then the War Raiders came out, and they had their little mask on that they had at TakeOver War Games, but it was a different color. They had fur attires on, kind of like looking like hunters and stuff, and then they just did their entrance with the Vikings at the stage, and it was pretty clean. Undisputed Era came out. It was no Adam Cole or Velveteen Dream on the show, but it was Velveteen Dream, but he was in the crowd. And it was another segment that happened that was actually kind of hilarious. I'm going to talk about it. This match was good. Undisputed Era, like I said, Undisputed Era came out. Bobby Fish came out with them, but he wasn't involved in the match. He just went backstage. They ended up winning the NXT award for Best Tag Team, so he had the bell while they had the championship, so that was something. Yeah, really good match. This match was just, no pun intended, this was a war. This match was insane. Both teams, I should say, just went out and tried to destroy each other. There was no rest holds in this match like most tag matches, you know, to slow everything down, or most matches in general. All out war. Both men just went crazy. Both teams, I keep saying both men, both teams just went crazy. They started off with Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly trying to jump the War Raiders, and then eventually they just start getting destroyed by the War Raiders, getting tossed into each other, until eventually Hanson, you know, Mr. 305 Live, decided to go for a suicide dive, and they moved out the way, and he just went splat on the floor. So then Undisputed Era just started dissecting Raymond Rowe and just started, you know, beating him up, doing moves on him and stuff, until eventually Hanson got the hot tag, and then during the hot tag, you know, he did all his stuff, his little cartwheel, reversal, that was pretty clean. What else did he do? He did something else. Eventually he hit a suicide dive, and then there was a bunch of false finishes. One where they hit like a powerbomb suplex. Roderick Strong hit a superplex. Undisputed Era hit their finisher for a near fall. And then the match would end with War Raiders hitting their finish. Now, I know in Ring of Honor, they called it the Fall of Man. I don't even know what they call it in NXT. I don't even know what they call the finisher in NXT, but I know it's the Fall of Man. It's basically Royal hosts the person up, and Hanson just does a leg drop and breaks the person's neck. There was also a crazy spot where Hanson hit a diving splash on Kyle O'Reilly, and I thought Kyle O'Reilly died. But good match, great match to open up the show, amazing match. Then after that, we got a break, and then we had NXT UK Women's Champion Toni Storm and Pete Dunn, the UK Champion, and Pete Dunn had no emotion at all. Toni Storm was all like happy, trying to get him to smile, and he just had that I don't give a fuck face, and I loved that about Pete Dunn. He just doesn't have emotions, which is amazing. So the next match we ended up getting was Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. The story of this match essentially was, because the only match that didn't have a huge story with it was the tag match, but as long as the match delivered, who cares? Because there's been a lot of matches on TakeOver that didn't have a story and ended up being the best match on the card or delivered. This match had a story, and basically Cassius Ohno was tired of all these new people that come to NXT. He even mentioned like in a video package, they showed people that were like came to NXT before Cassius Ohno was in NXT. He was still in the Indies by that, because they showed Bobby Roode. But his problem is that William Regal has too many new superstars, and Cassius Ohno got that same treatment sort of, but he just feels like since he's been here, he hasn't done anything. He isn't getting any attention. He feels like William Regal is showing more favoritism to other people. And since Matt Riddle is the newest guy to show up, he decided to pick on Matt Riddle. It started out as an angle. Like I said in the War Games review, it was an angle that's eventually going to lead to something big. And this is what it led to. So at War Games, just in case you didn't know, Cassius Ohno, well, first Matt Riddle came out, surprisingly, because there wasn't even a match between them. He came out, he was saying something, I forgot what he said. And then Cassius Ohno came out, challenged him. They had the match. It ended in like 7 seconds after Matt Riddle hit Cassius Ohno with a Kenny Omega V-trigger, essentially the running knee to the face. Not the running knee, the bicycle knee. 1, 2, 3, won the match. It was a big surprise. Then they had another match on NXT where Matt Riddle caught Cassius Ohno out of nowhere with a submission. He tapped out. And then Cassius Ohno attacked Matt Riddle after that. And then they inserted something I thought would have got involved in this match, but it didn't. And that was that Keith Lee was going to get involved because Keith Lee is Matt Riddle's friend. They established that on TV. And Cassius Ohno, Keith Lee had a match, I think, like 2 weeks ago. And Cassius Ohno won by taking advantage of the referee being down. And I think he hit Keith Lee in the nuts and then hit him with the rolling elbow. And he won the match. And then Matt Riddle tried to get involved, but they was like, you can't wrestle. But because they said he was hurt after he got tagged by Cassius Ohno. So I thought Keith Lee was going to get involved, you know, maybe turn heel and get Cassius Ohno the victory. But it didn't happen like that. So Matt Riddle came out first. I thought he was going to have a big, extravagant entrance. I thought he was going to come out. So, you know, since he has the GTA music, I thought he was going to come out in a lowrider, and then Keith Lee was going to be dressed as Big Smoke or a big-ass version of CJ with, like, a white tank top, some jeans, and some shoes. It didn't happen like they just had the regular entrance. The crowd chanted, bro. Cassius Ohno came out, regular entrance, but his attire was in the colors of the Phoenix Suns because TakeOver Phoenix. And the match happened. It started out with them going with Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle just striking each other. And Matt Riddle basically had the advantage until Cassius Ohno caught him slipping by covering his face with the ring apron. And then he, did he get a leg drop on the ring apron? I think he did. Wait, let me see. Because he did something on the ring apron. I think he just booted him in the face. Yeah. He decks him. And then eventually Cassius Ohno was working on Matt Riddle. He had a leg drop at one point. I was like, oof. I think it was like on the back of his head. Cassius Ohno was just getting his stuff off, talking a lot of crap in that match. It got to a point where he big booed Matt Riddle in the face. Like his boot connected with Matt Riddle's face, and his mouth started bleeding, actually. Cassius Ohno also hit a cravat, like a cravat toss or whatever, into the stairs. And then eventually, after getting all his stuff in, Matt Riddle did the hot tag, you would call it, but in the singles match, he just went for his comeback, hit a bunch of stuff. He had a sleeper hold suplex, which was pretty cool. And then the ending of this match, essentially, was Matt Riddle doing UFC stuff, and I wish that they would have had Cassius Ohno tap out later, but basically Matt Riddle got caught Cassius Ohno. He's about to go for a headlock, but eventually turned it into where he just started forearming Cassius Ohno back in the head, and I thought he would continue to do that and it would lead to something else. But Cassius Ohno started tapping out immediately. After he tapped out, Matt Riddle was still punching him in the face and stuff, and it got even more aggressive. So I was saying maybe if you would have continued to let him do that, then have him tap out. But it just happened so abruptly. I was like, what? But yeah, this match, if I would say, none of the matches on this card was weak, but if I had to say there was a match that just, I wouldn't say it wasn't on the level. It was good to an extent. I would say at this, I'm not even going to say it was the worst match. It just felt short, and the ending abruptly was like, whoa, okay, all right, okay. So this is the part I was talking about. Okay, hold on, bro. My fault. I'm in post-production right now, rendering a video, and I totally forgot there was something in that Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle match that I could not forget to mention, and that's that Cassius Ohno put Matt Riddle's foot in his mouth willingly. I forgot to mention that. That ain't it, Chief. No, this is it's not about to be too long. I just had to put this in here because I was just thinking about it as the video was rendering. It's only on like 10%, so I might as well put it in here. That ain't it, Chief. That wasn't it. This post-production though, enjoy the rest of the video. So there was a scene, I'm mentioning this because it's just funny. Alright, so a black SUV pulls up, and I'm like, is Vince McMahon gonna show up to NXT to prove that he watches NXT? So the SUV pulls up, right? 2 women come out of the ring. Average looking chicks, in my opinion. The Velveteen Dream comes out, right? Well, some guy comes out with tight ass shirt and a hat. You already know who that is. It was Velveteen Dream. He came in, had 2 bitches on his arm. He had 2 dudes in the back. He had like his whole entourage. And then right after that, they plugged in the WWE Worlds Collide tournament, which Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole will be in. And basically, it's a tournament between NXT UK, NXT, and 205 Live. It's being recorded. Some of the matches, the first round was recorded today. I think the finals is recorded tomorrow and is going to premiere next Saturday. Basically, just a tournament of just 3 different rosters binding and facing each other in different matches. I think the winner gets a championship match of his choosing. And if Velveteen Dream wins that tournament, that just goes in with what he said on TV, which was that he wanted the NXT North American title. And since he's a face now, and since we have a new North American champion, that can set up for something. And that can also go in with the kind of the feud between Champa and Velveteen Dream, because Velveteen Dream, this wasn't the last time we seen him on TV. He had a small other segment, because I'm reading all this on wrestling.com. So the next match we ended up getting was the NXT North American Championship match. We had Johnny Gargano go against the champion at the time, Ricochet. This match, the story of this match is essentially has nothing to do with Ricochet. It has all to do with Johnny Gargano, and basically Gargano, or Gargano, whatever you want to call him, has let Tommaso Ciampa get in his head. Okay? It's gotten to a point where he feels he needs to win. I don't know. Okay, so this match had multiple stories. It was, because I'm trying to explain it, but it was something else that they said like on a pre-show, and they kept saying it, was that he doesn't win matches, right? But he won 1 match at TakeOver, but he usually doesn't win matches at TakeOver. But like from what I seen, it was like Tommaso Ciampa has gotten to his head to the point where he's doing heel stuff. He attacked Alistair Black. They did the heel DIY move on Alistair Black in the cage, right? He super kicked Ricochet. He caught him blindsided. They both attacked Ricochet and Alistair Black on the Go Home episode. So it's gotten to a point where Tommaso Ciampa is in Johnny Gargano's head, and now that he's tricked him into becoming an ally, he doesn't have to worry about Johnny Gargano going for his title or going for him in general. He's saying, hey, why don't you go for the NXT North American title? And then he does, and now they have this match, and then he's in his head, you're Johnny Wrestling, you should be a champion, you should be the NXT North American champion, then we could both be, reigning champions, and we could be on top again, like the old DIY days. So that has everything to do with Johnny Gargano, and this is why Ricochet is in this match, because he's the North American champion. That's his only involvement in this feud, honestly, logically speaking. But this match was good. I enjoyed it. It was, if you know what happens in a Ricochet match, you're going to get a lot of flips. And we got that in this match. But we also got Johnny Gargano doing some extraordinary things, too. Johnny Gargano came out dressed as the Human Torch Ghost Rider. And Ricochet came out dressed as Miles Morales Spider-Man. And he even looked at the camera like, you already know what's going on. I feel like that was him looking at Will Ospreay, because Will Ospreay dressed up as Spider-Man. And if you follow both of them on Twitter, you would know they each like copy each other. They at least talk about copying each other and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that was him looking at them. But anyways, match was good. It started off with both men, doing the whole lockup, but in their own interesting way. Johnny Gargano, he's not that much of a high flyer. He does a suicide dive and stuff, but I wouldn't call him a technical, but he does a lot of technical stuff. And Ricochet's a high flyer. So basically, it was an interesting of the, clashing of the styles at the beginning. But instead, every time Ricochet would go for a flip, Johnny Gargano would try to lock him down, but Ricochet would just continue to flip out of everything. He's just a flipping guy. So Ricochet was getting a lot of his stuff in, different flips, uppercuts, just a lot of the Ricochet stuff. And then eventually, Johnny Gargano was able to slow the match down with getting some of his stuff in. If I had one complaint about this match, and it's something about Ricochet, is that he doesn't sell as much as the average person. Like, he'll get hit with a move, and then he'll just get back up in 10 seconds and be back on the offense. That's my only problem with Ricochet, but other than that, I love Ricochet. I feel like that's gonna screw him over on the main roster, honestly. I'm not saying it won't make them take him serious, but if they see something like that, they're like, oh, he's doing that. Oh, well, we could put him. I don't know if you heard that. if they feel like he's just a guy that just no sells everything and he's just doing flips and stuff, they might just fuck around and put him on 205 Live, and I don't want them to do that to him. So for that alone, I don't want that to happen. So maybe they can have Ricochet sell more frequently and sell longer, if that makes any sense. But yeah, this match was good. My favorite parts of this match was Ricochet just doing Ricochet shit. Like, Ricochet jumped over. Okay, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, it's like I've seen this before, but the way Ricochet did it, I don't think anybody's ever done it like him. And I'm pretty sure somebody has, and I just haven't seen it. But like, okay, I think Kofi Kingston did. But basically, Johnny Gargano got out the ring when Ricochet was about to do one of his big dives. And Ricochet jumps over the ring, the turnbuckles and the ring post, and dives over Johnny Gargano. Then goes back into the ring, I believe, and goes for his signature dive to the outside. I don't even know what it's called, right? There's another clean spot where Johnny Gargano caught Ricochet in midair and put in the Gargano escape, but Ricochet got out of it. Ricochet went for, his comeback. He does strikes, his springboard, European uppercut. Then he hits his Northern suplex and the brainbuster for a near fall. Let me see what else happens. Oh, yes, yeah. There was another part where Gargano reversed one of Ricochet's dives and caught him with the sit-down powerbomb for a near fall. Ricochet went for a shooting star press and a moonsault for a near fall. The fans lost their minds that this is awesome stuff. There was one part where Johnny Gargano went for a super kick and Ricochet did the whole flip thing. You know that sell people do. It's like really popular now because everybody does it, where you get hit with a big clothesline, you just do a flip. That happened to Ricochet. He got hit with it. He sold it for like 10 seconds and then put Johnny Gargano in the Gargano escape, but Gargano got out of it. Right? There was a small bit of storytelling in this match. I thought they would have elaborated on it more by having Gargano be more aggressive or act like more like Champa. But there was a small bit of storytelling where Gargano started to take the padding off of the floor and he was about to hit a DDT on Ricochet, and then he was like, no, I'm not going to do it. But eventually, towards the end of the match, Gargano, I'm trying to see how did he set it up. Yeah, okay, so towards the end of the match, they went off for all their crazy moves for near falls. And then Gargano hits a not superplex. He had a suplex on the concrete, right? Then he hits his jumping DDT, springboard DDT, covers Ricochet. I thought Ricochet was going to kick out. No, he did not. Gargano pinned Ricochet and beat him, and he is the new NXT North American champion using Champa tactics. That was the only bit of storytelling in this match. From a storytelling standpoint, this match, I expected more of Gargano doing Tommaso Ciampa stuff. But as just a match itself, if you just didn't know what the story was, it was a good match. I mean, Ricochet is going to put on a good performance no matter who it is. He's going to do all his flips and stuff is relatively new to certain people. Like, I'm used to his flip stuff. I watched him in New Japan. I watched him in Lucha Underground. I've seen him do a lot of this stuff before. But there's a lot of people that didn't watch that stuff. So they're seeing a lot of this and they're just excited because this is crazy stuff that like they've never seen it before. So from a Ricochet standpoint, it was good. Johnny Gargano, I felt like he should have did more Ciampa-like stuff. He did do a move on the concrete, but it wasn't the DDT. It was just a suplex, and that was interesting. I felt like if he could have did more of that in this match, kind of for the story, and especially towards the end of the main event and the end of the show, what happened. Yeah, but it was a good match though. It just the story I felt like could have been told more. That's my only critique with this match. It was good though. It was good match. So the next match we ended up getting, right? Ooh, this match. I love this match. It was a good match. This, out of all the matches on the show, this told the best story, and it was a consistent story, so I can appreciate that. So we ended up having the NXT Women's Title matches. We had Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler. Now the story with this match, essentially, is that Shayna Baszler has been at the top of the division. And it's been a rising star since all of her matches and stuff. And that's been Bianca Belair. She's been undefeated. That's her thing. She's been undefeated. She's beaten everybody. She won the Fatal 4-Way match to earn her match, to earn this match. So that's just been her gimmick, is that she's undefeated. And she's has she reminds me of Sasha Banks in NXT. Not the undefeated part. It's just that she's really confident and that she feels like nobody can say anything to her. And Shayna Baszler is like, you're athletic, you're cool and all this stuff, but you have to breathe some point, and you're gonna tap out because you know Shayna Baszler makes people tap out. So yeah, that was basically the story of this match, and they consistently showed it, and it was also kind of trying to be a proving ground for Bianca Belair as well because she has this is her first takeover match, and you know every person's first takeover match they have to deliver in order for the fans to really get into them. Because I remember when everybody was I wouldn't say shitting on Velveteen Dream, but they was not taking them serious. I remember I was at that TakeOver Chicago, and they filmed that before the show happened, and people were like, what is this? But I was fucking with Velveteen Dream because, you know, he was Patrick Clark on Tough Enough, so I was already rooting for him, and I was rooting for him to get over NXT. And everybody was just like, I don't know about this. This is this fake Prince gimmick, yada yada yada. He has the match with Alistair Black. Granted, he lost, but he still had the match. It was a star-making performance, and now everybody won't shut up about Velveteen Dream. So I felt like that had to happen for Bianca Belair. I fucks with Bianca Belair, but if she can't have these good matches on big stages, then what is she good for? So this match was basically that. Bianca Belair came in real confident, you know, until Shayna Baszler took her hair and pulled it, and in the process of pulling it, Bianca Belair's shoulder and arm went into the ring post. So then Shayna Baszler worked her style of the match, where she basically worked on Bianca Belair's arm, did the whole stomp thing that she does to everybody. She worked on the arm a lot. Bianca actually sold the arm a lot, even when she used it for moves. And basically Shayna Baszler was doing submission stuff, you know, trying to get her to tap out because that's her angle. That's how she does her matches. But Bianca Belair didn't back down. She actually did the hair whip gimmick twice. And the second time she hit Shayna Baszler with it, actually left like a red line on her like abdomen area. And it looked like she just got hit with, I'm not trying to be racist, but it looked like she got hit with a whip. And that shit was, I was like, yikes. That's crazy. So essentially, basically, Bianca Belair just went for her comeback, all that kind of stuff. Eventually, the referee took a bump. She was out of it. Shayna Baszler's peoples, Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke got involved, but since the referee was out, she couldn't see anything. And Bianca Belair took both of them out, right? Took both of them out. Then Shayna Baszler went for the, what's she called? The Marafuda, you know what the name of it. It's a rear naked choke, but they give it a different name. It's the same move Samoa Joe does, but they gave that a different name. Now they give this a different name. I think it's the Marafuda clutch or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Her rear naked choke. She goes for it, and I thought, oh, please don't make it in the match. Have her fight out of it first. And she did fight out of it. She fought out of it, was able to get more offense in. She went to the top rope, was about to go for the 450 before both women got involved. She eventually took out both of them, went for the 450, and Shayna Baszler was able to catch her and out of it and put back the Marafuda clutch. And basically the last minutes of this match was basically the last few minutes was just watching Bianca Belair fight out of it. She got up but fell again, tried to get back up until she just passed out, and boom, Shayna Baszler won. End of the match. It was a good match. I also liked my bad. I also like Bianca Belair. Whenever Shayna Baszler would say overrated in the undefeated thing, she would get instantly angry and she would just start going at it again. Now, I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, this is a good match. The story was told well. It was showing that, you know, that Bianca Belair looks like she wasn't ready for it, but eventually she fought through it. She tried to fight through it again, but she didn't work. This is a star. It's making her into a star, and it just makes you want to see what they do with this. You know, they have to have their match at TakeOver in WrestleMania weekend, and it has to have Belair win the title and send Shayna to the main roster. But I like what they can do with this. They can have Bianca Belair just be like, whoa. Because her whole thing was that she was just very cocky and confident because she was undefeated. And she's like one of the most athletic person on the NXT roster, male or female. So, you know, and nobody could beat her. So now she just has to sit up here and just realize she's been defeated. What can she do to fix it? And we could see the hero struggle. and then see her win the title at TakeOver. I don't know if they're gonna call it TakeOver Brooklyn because it's in Brooklyn, or TakeOver New York because WrestleMania is in New York, even though it's in New Jersey. But it was a good match. After that, we see Velveteen Dream in the road, got both of the chicks on his arm, and he's just watching the main event, which is why I mentioned that tidbit about Velveteen Dream and the NXT North American Championship earlier. Then we got the main event, which was for the NXT Championship, as we had Alistair Black versus Tommaso Ciampa in the main event. Champa came out holding the title like a baby, like he didn't want to let it go. Alistair Black had the candles lit, and he came out with the spike jacket. It was really clean. And this match was good. It was very... They started out just brawling with each other. They went outside the ring, went back in the ring, and basically just, you know, them hitting moves on each other. And then we get to the what was supposed to be like the big story behind this match, but it just kind of fell. It kind of fell on its face, but attempted to get up. So I can commend that, I guess. Basically, Tommaso Ciampa was able to catch Alistair Black lacking, started working on his leg for a long time. He like slammed his leg into the ring post, hit a Boston Crab, a single leg Boston Crab, just was working on the leg until eventually Alistair Black went for the comeback. But he was not selling his leg all the way. There was certain points where he would sell his leg, but he would only sell it for a couple seconds. Then he wouldn't sell his leg, right? The match was just Tommaso Ciampa for like majority of it at the beginning until we got to the comeback and stuff. Alistair Black eventually came back, kicks, stomps, you know, all the stuff he does. There was one spot where he tried to go for his famous moonsault to the outside. Tommaso Ciampa moved out the way, and he ended up. Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. Yeah, okay. He went for the moonsault in the corner. He went for the moonsault off the ring post. He went for the moonsault off the ring post. It didn't work. So then eventually Tommaso Ciampa got back on it, on attacking. Then eventually he ripped the padding off, doing what he does. He was about to go for a DDT. Eventually, right? Oh no, that's towards the end of the match. Let me skirt back a little bit. Okay, so we got to a point where Tommaso Ciampa hits what they now call the Fairytale Ending, which is a butterfly face buster or whatever, for a near fall. Eventually, Alistair Black hits a black mass, and as soon as he's gonna go for the pin, Tommaso Ciampa just turns on his stomach like a fucking troll. That was so fun. I found it hilarious because you thought he was gonna win the title, and then he just turned on his stomach, so he couldn't pin him. So then we get to the end of the match. Tommaso Ciampa tried to go for a DDT on the apron. And eventually, Alistair Black got out of it, and he was able to hit a Meteora onto... Not a Meteora. Is it a Meteora? It's when he jumps and puts his knees in his opponent's face. It's what Sasha Banks does. Does that on the concrete. Kind of sells his leg, but under his own power was able to throw Alistair Black back into the ring. Tried to go for a black mass. He ended up kicking Ciampa in the head. Ciampa used the referee as a distraction. Eventually, he hit. Hold on. Oh, this damn website wasn't updated. Damn. Okay. Like I was saying. Okay. So he went for that. Threw the referee in there. Ciampa hit. He tried to kick him in the nuts. Alistair Black caught it. Tried to go for the black mass, but his knee messed up. So then Ciampa hit the Fairytale Ending. Because he hit it like twice before. No, he hit it once. Kick out. He tried to hit it again. He hit it again. It's so confusing. He hit the Fairytale Ending like 5 times. It's burying the move at this point. And then he hit it once. He picked Black up. Tried to go for it again. And that's when we get to the ending of this match where the referee got distracted. He tried to kick him in the nuts. He tried to go for the black mass again. He sold his leg. Ciampa hit the Fairytale Ending. 1, 2, 3. Ending of this match with Tommaso Ciampa retaining his NXT Championship. Both men just dead on the ground. It was like for a couple seconds, the referee was just like in the middle of the ring holding the championship, and both men was dead. I guess that's supposed to show something. It was a good match. My only problem is that it had a big ass inconsistency. And that inconsistency was my fault. The inconsistency was that Black was selling the leg like half of the time of the match. But other than that, it was a good match. I fucks with it. Then after the match, Tommaso Ciampa came out. of the ring, holding the championship, and I thought the show was over, right? You know, he's holding up the championship, you know, celebrating, music playing, right? And then Johnny Gargano walks out to a huge pop, holds up the NXT North American Championship, while Tommaso Ciampa holds up the NXT Championship, and Tommaso Ciampa has won once again. Not only has he won the NXT Championship match, he has retained his title, he's officially in Johnny Gargano's head. He's gotten in his head so much that he's shifted Gargano's perspective, because Gargano wanted to beat Tommaso Ciampa, which he did, but then he lost. But he also wanted the NXT Championship. That was his whole story going into 2018. Then he lost. And Champa was able to get into his head so much that he changed his perspective to where Gargano was okay with being the North American champion. And they're both celebrating on top. And now Tommaso Ciampa doesn't have to worry about Johnny Gargano going after his NXT championship, and he could just reign free as the champion. It's amazing. It's amazing character work, booking, storytelling, whatever you want to call it. It's just amazing to see that, and I get it. So they both basically stand tall with the championship. Heel DIY. The show goes off of air. And yes, this was an amazing, good NXT show. I believe I'm starting to do ratings, so if I have to give this a rating, you already know. I'm pretty sure it's going to be for the rest of the takeovers an A+ show. I would not an A+ show. I'm not even going to stutter. A to an A+ show. Whatever I gave New Japan, I'm giving that. So I think I gave New Japan an A+. I'm going to give TakeOver an A+. Yeah, it was an A show. No, I'm going to give it an A+. I'll give it... Damn, I don't know. So this is why I don't do the rating, because this show was good. All the matches were good. It was like all the matches were good to amazing. Like, not all of them, but you know, there was no bad match. There wasn't a sour match. They were all good. It's just that, would it be valid to just say this is an A+ show? I don't know. It's an A to an A+ show. Take it how you want it. Anyways, amazing show. I'll be back on the channel tomorrow for the Royal Rumble review. I don't know if it's going to be the night after, right after the pay-per-view, how I usually do it, record it and upload it, or if it's just going to be in the morning after. It depends on when I can record, because I am in college, so I have to do it when I have free time. So it is what it is. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Do what you do to support me. I appreciate every piece of support that I get, even if it's small. I still appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.